If you've been interested in investing in real estate but keep asking, can I actually invest with a full-time job? This video is for you. Because the truth is, your W-2 isn't actually what's holding you back. Now, a lot of people think that success in real estate only works if you quit your job and go all in. But most portfolios are built alongside another income, quietly, steadily, and with far fewer resignations than the internet would have us believe. But if you're new here, hi, I'm Sabrina, and I am building in real estate one step at a time, alongside a full-time job. And this channel is for early stage investors who are trying to do the same. And in this video, we're gonna talk about working a full-time job while you invest in real estate. We're specifically gonna talk about the advantages of your W-2, what it costs you, and how to do both without burning yourself out. But before we get into the specifics, I wanna normalize something that is not said enough. Most people who own properties get their income from somewhere else. That's normal. If we know that the majority of investors are individuals and small investors like you and me with a handful of units, many of them work full-time jobs. And many of those jobs have nothing to do with real estate. Like statistically, you are far more likely to work in retail, healthcare, education, transportation, technical services, or the government than real estate. So, if you have a regular job that has nothing to do with your investing, you're not behind, and you're certainly not doing something wrong. So now that I've gotten that off my chest, we can get into it. So why is your W-2 actually an advantage? So your W-2 gives you the biggest leg up when it comes to financing. Because listen, lenders like predictability. The more boring the income, the better. And so a W-2 is a great way to have boring, predictable, consistent income. That income is easier to verify, it's easier to underwrite, which means that it also unlocks lower interest rates, better terms, and easier approvals, especially earlier on, or if you don't have a massive portfolio. Your W-2 unlocks the beauty of stable, long-term, locked-in financing that allows you to grow over time. And the truth is, even many investors who are in full-time leverage a W-2, often from their partner or their spouse, because it makes the financing so much simpler. Your W-2 also allows you margin for mistakes. Because let's be real, deals rarely go perfectly, especially early on. Rehab costs get underestimated, vacancies can last longer than expected, timelines can get stretched out, values may not come in as high as anticipated. And when you have a paycheck, it allows you to kind of absorb these bumps in the road. And so without the income pressure, these mistakes are learning opportunities for feedback, not tragic emergencies. Because the biggest risk really isn't losing money, especially in the beginning. It's needing a deal to work so badly because you haven't got any kind of wiggle room. And so that leads to the last advantage, which is less pressure to take on bad deals. Because here's the reality. When you don't need a deal to replace your income immediately, then that means that you can slow down, you can renegotiate, or you can walk away. Because when you have a steady income, you don't need every deal to save you. It just needs to move you in the right direction. And so you get the luxury of time and patience to make sure that each deal is the right deal for you. Now that we know that your W-2 can come with some sweet, sweet financing and the benefits of margin and cushion, I can't sugarcoat it. Having a W-2 certainly has costs when you are trying to invest. So let's get into it. So the first and foremost, which I'm sure you already feel, is that time is a constraint and progress feels really, really slow. You don't have unlimited time, maybe just a few nights or weekends, And so progress feels slow and small and uneven. Maybe you're making a few offers this month and none the next. And that can certainly lead to the feeling or the thought that I'm not cut out for this, or there's no way this is ever going to work. And related to that constrained time is cost number 2. You can't chase every opportunity. You might have to say no to midday showings, last minute calls, or negotiating with a seller for 5 straight hours for the sweetest deal of your life. And so yeah, you will miss things. Like, that's real. In addition to those time constraints, there's also the energy constraints. Because kind of switching contexts from being at work, thinking about and analyzing deals, and maybe going back to your regular life, like, that can be mentally exhausting. And like, that mental exhaustion you can feel it in your body. Like, it's like this physical exhaustion that you feel even if you're just sitting at your computer. And related to that, decision fatigue is a real thing. There are so many decisions that you need to make. And to be honest, after a full day's work, it can be difficult to like compare options and really dig into the analysis and negotiate and go through all of the steps of the buying process and make really clean and confident calls about the deals that you're making. Because the reality is true, it's not just time, it's also energy and mental bandwidth. So if your W-2 indeed comes with real advantages and real costs, the question is, how do you do both without driving yourself insane? So first, accept that you will feel discomfort. You have to be willing to feel a bit stretched. If you're adding investing on top of a full-time job, a full-time life, you've got to expect some discomfort. You've got to expect some trade-offs. It's not chaos, not ultimate burnout, but there will be some friction. And that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that you are doing multiple things that are meaningful at the same time. And so the goal is not to have perfect balance each day, but something sustainable that you can do over weeks, months, and years. So how do you do it? Number 1, choose a strategy that fits your life, not someone else's. When you're thinking about different strategies, you have to ask yourself, what is the reality of my time constraints? What level of unpredictability am I willing to accept? How much time and energy do I really have to devote to this, or can I make to devote to this? And do what's right for you, because a simple deal well executed will always beat an amazingly complex deal that you never get off the ground. Second, have the mentality of fewer but better. Depth beats volume when your time is limited. And so again, a few good deals executed over time is always better than 100 great deals that you never start. And number 3, systems matter more than hustle. When you've got limited time, you need good systems so that you don't have to do everything or create everything from scratch. So what might this look like? First, having a very clear buy box. Once you make a lot of decisions about what it is that you're going to buy, where you want to buy it, and exactly your criteria, then you can filter out so much noise that is just going to be a distraction and waste your time. So once you have your clear criteria, you can make no decisions really fast, which makes yes decisions easier. You also want to have dedicated real estate time. Now, I know it can be difficult to carve out time when you've got your full-time job, but carving out that time is really important because it gives you a specific time where you can do your analysis, callbacks, make offers, etc. That's confined to one specific time instead of kind of running as a track in the background of your mind, which can be distracting and increase your stress levels. So that dedicated time can really help with your energy and mental bandwidth management. And the final tip is, once you actually start to get some systems going, reuse them. Spreadsheets, agents, lenders, contractors. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So you want to just keep using these tools, relationships, and resources until there's a reason not to. You want to keep it boring, keep it consistent, not let comparison throw you off track. So there you have it. If you're working a full-time job, the goal is not to act like someone who isn't. You don't need a different life to invest. You just need a clear structure. So if you're working full-time and thinking about real estate, what feels the most constrained right now? Time, energy, confidence, something else? Drop it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.